You know what absolutely infuriates me? The fact that WWE had the audacity to book one of the most chaotic, most intense, most jaw-dropping Saturday Night's main event episodes in years, and half the wrestling world is still sleeping on what actually went down. While everyone's busy arguing about who's getting pushed and who's being buried, they completely missed the fact that Sami Zayn just proved every single doubter wrong. Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu turned the ring into an absolute warzone, and the entire landscape of WWE just got flipped on its head. And if you think you know what happened, if you think you saw the whole story, then you're about to realize you missed everything that actually mattered. This wasn't just another show, this was a statement, a declaration, and possibly the beginning of something that's going to change everything we thought we knew about where WWE is heading. Let me paint you the picture of what went down at Saturday Night's main event, because if you blinked, if you looked away for even a second, you missed moments that are going to be talked about for months, possibly years to come. This wasn't your standard episode of wrestling entertainment, this was organized chaos, this was controlled mayhem, and this was WWE reminding us exactly why Saturday Night's main event has always been the stage where legends are made and careers are defined. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Sami Zayn. The man who has been counted out more times than I can count on both hands. The guy who everyone said would never make it to the top. The underdog who's been knocked down, pushed aside, and doubted at every single turn of his career. Well, guess what? Sami Zayn walked into Saturday Night's main event and walked out with a victory that nobody, and I mean nobody, can take away from him. The energy in that arena when Sami's music hit was absolutely electric. You could feel it through the screen. The crowd wasn't just cheering, they were erupting. Because they know, we know, everyone knows that Sami Zayn represents something bigger than just wins and losses. He represents every person who's ever been told they are not good enough, every wrestler who's been passed over for the golden boy, every performer who's had to scratch and claw for every single opportunity. And here's where it gets interesting, here's where the story gets deeper than just a simple victory. Sami didn't just win, he won in a way that showcased everything that makes him special. The technical wrestling ability, the ring psychology, the connection with the audience, the storytelling that happens between those ropes. This wasn't a fluke, this wasn't luck, this wasn't the stars aligning for one random night. This was Sami Zayn proving that skill, heart, and determination still means something in this business. Before we continue, we have a quick request for you. We are constantly working to improve our content to earn your love and support. That's why we would truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on Wrestling Zone Insider. But let's talk about what everyone is going to be replaying over and over again, the absolute chaos that erupted when Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu collided. Listen, I've seen brawls. I've watched hardcore matches. I've witnessed backstage fights that spilled into the arena. But what these two men did at Saturday Night's main event, that was something different. That was two forces of nature colliding with the intensity of a freight train hitting a brick wall at full speed. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the man carrying the legacy of his family on his shoulders while simultaneously trying to forge his own path and prove he's worthy of being the face of WWE. And then you have Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, the absolute wrecking machine who moves like someone half his size but hits like he's carrying the weight of an entire legacy behind every single strike. From the moment these two locked eyes, you knew something special was about to happen. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife, the anticipation in that building was palpable, and when they finally engaged, pure, unbridled chaos. These two didn't just wrestle, they went to war. They fought like men possessed, like there was something much bigger than a simple match on the line. The strikes, oh man, the strikes. Every chop, every punch, every forearm had bad intentions written all over it. You could hear the impact echoing through the arena. Jacob Fatu was throwing those devastating headbutts and super kicks that he's become legendary for, while Cody was countering with that combination of technical prowess and brawling ability that makes him so dangerous. Neither man was backing down, neither man was showing weakness, and that's what made this so compelling. Here's my first trivia question for you, drop your answer in the comments below. What year did Saturday Night's main event originally premiere on NBC? Test your wrestling knowledge and let's see who the real historians are in the comment section. What made this brawl even more intense was the storytelling behind it. This wasn't just two guys fighting because they were booked to fight. There was meaning behind every move, every counter, every desperate attempt to gain the upper hand. You could see in Cody's eyes that he was fighting for respect, fighting to prove he belongs at the top of the card, fighting to show that the Rhodes name still carries weight in this industry. And Jacob Fatu? He was fighting to establish himself as the most dangerous force in WWE, fighting to show that the Fatu legacy is alive and well, fighting to prove that when he steps in that ring, nobody is safe. The brawl spilled outside the ring, because of course it did. When you have two competitors this intense, this passionate, this determined to destroy each other, 4 ropes and 20 feet of canvas aren't going to contain them. They fought through the crowd, they fought on the ramp, they used every inch of that arena as their personal battlefield. Security tried to separate them, tried being the operative word, because when men are fighting with this level of intensity, it takes an army to pull them apart. And can we talk about the near falls? The moments where you genuinely thought it was over, where you were on the edge of your seat wondering who was going to pull off the victory? That's the art of wrestling right there. That's what separates a good match from a great match. That's what makes Saturday Night's Main Event feel different from your standard television programming. The stakes felt real, the outcomes felt uncertain, and every single person watching was completely invested in what was happening. But here's what's really fascinating about this whole situation, the implications moving forward. Sami Zayn's victory isn't happening in a vacuum. This win, this moment, this statement he made, it's going to have ripple effects throughout the entire WWE landscape. Suddenly, Sami Zayn is right back in the conversation. Suddenly, everyone has to take him seriously again. Suddenly, the doors that might have been closing are being kicked wide open. And the Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu situation? That's far from over. You don't have a brawl that intense, that chaotic, that absolutely insane without there being a continuation. These two men have unfinished business written all over them. This was just the opening chapter in what's going to be an epic rivalry. Mark my words, we're going to be talking about Rhodes versus Fatu for a long time to come, and Saturday Night's Main Event was just the spark that lit the fuse. Let me throw out my second trivia question for you brilliant wrestling fans. Jacob Fatu is part of which legendary Samoan wrestling family dynasty? Drop your answers below and let's see who's been paying attention to their wrestling family trees. What absolutely kills me, and I mean this in the most frustrated way possible, is that some people are going to watch this episode, see these incredible moments, witness this amazing storytelling, and still find ways to complain. They'll say it was overbooked, they'll say it was too chaotic, they'll say they should have done this differently or that differently. And to those people I say, you're missing the point. Wrestling is supposed to make you feel something. It's supposed to create moments that stay with you, that make you want to talk about what you just witnessed, that compel you to tune in next week to see what happens next. Saturday Night's Main Event delivered on every level. The wrestling was phenomenal, the storytelling was compelling, the moments were memorable, and the setup for future storylines was absolutely perfect. Sami Zayn got his moment to shine and reminded everyone why he's one of the most talented performers in the entire industry. Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu created a brawl that's going to be replayed and referenced for years. This is what wrestling is supposed to be. And let's talk about the crowd reaction, because that's such an underrated part of what made this night special. The fans were hot all night long. They were invested, they were loud, they were reacting to everything that was happening. That's what creates that special atmosphere that makes live wrestling so magical. When the performers and the audience are feeding off each other's energy, when everyone in that building is completely dialed into what's happening, that's when wrestling transcends being just a television show and becomes an experience. The production value was on point too. The camera work capturing every devastating strike in that Fatu Rhodes brawl, the dramatic angles during Sami's big moments, the way they built the tension throughout the entire show. WWE's production team doesn't get enough credit for how much they contribute to making these moments feel huge. Every replay, every slow motion shot, every perfectly timed camera cut added to the overall presentation and made everything feel that much more important. Looking forward, the questions are endless and absolutely fascinating. Where does Sami Zayn go from here? Who's going to step up and challenge him now that he's proven he's still got what it takes? Will he get a shot at championship gold? Will he finally get the respect from the locker room that he's deserved for years? The possibilities are absolutely endless and incredibly exciting. And what about Cody and Jacob? When these two finally have their one-on-one match, and you know it's coming, what kind of stipulation is WWE going to put on it? Because after a brawl that chaotic, you can't just do a standard match. No disqualification? Falls count anywhere, steel cage, hell in a cell? Whatever they decide, it needs to match the intensity of what we saw at Saturday Night's Main Event. This is why wrestling matters. This is why we invest our time, our energy, our passion into following these stories. Because when it's done right, when the wrestlers are giving their all, when the booking makes sense, when the moments land the way they are supposed to, there's nothing quite like it. Saturday Night's Main Event reminded us that WWE still knows how to deliver when it counts, still knows how to create those special moments that make us fall in love with this business over and over again. So here's the bottom line, here's what you need to take away from everything that went down. Saturday Night's Main Event was an absolutely massive success that delivered on every promise. Sami Zayn proved the doubters wrong with an incredible victory that repositioned him in the upper card. Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu created absolute mayhem in a brawl that's going to be remembered and talked about for a very long time. The foundation has been laid for incredible storylines moving forward, and WWE showed everyone that they still know how to create must-see television. If you haven't watched this episode yet, stop what you're doing and go watch it right now. If you did watch it again because I guarantee you missed details and moments that make the whole thing even better on a second viewing. This is the kind of wrestling that reminds us why we fell in love with this crazy business in the first place. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What was your favorite moment from Saturday night's main event? Are you Team Sami? Are you excited for more Cody versus Jacob? What do you think happens next? Let's get a conversation going because that's what makes this community special.